subscribers, and welcome to the newspaper review here on Staff TV. Cyril Aloysius is my name, and I'm super excited to bring to you headlines in different papers across the nation. Mr. Victor Sioku is the person once again today to look at the papers with me. Sir, you are welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Cyril.
How do you do?
I'm all right.
I believe you slept well. I hope you slept well.
Oh, yes, I thank God for His mercies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and how you doing?
I'm fine.
Hope
I'm
you
fine.
had a good weekend?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, so without wasting much time and going straight into the business of the day, we'll be starting first by looking at the New Telegraph newspaper. The New Telegraph newspaper, and some interesting headlines here says on page 2, 3, and 5. Presidential poll. Supreme Court to decide Tinubu's eligibility to contest on May 26th. Presidential poll. Supreme Court to decide Tinubu's eligibility to contest on May 26th. That story is on page 2, 3, and 5. And another headline here on page 3. This one says, Group, Igbo politicians, not errand boys. Group, Igbo politicians, not errand boys. Wants Senate presidency zoned to Southeast. Okay, that story is on page 3 of the New Telegraph. On page 4 now, this one says, on page 6, I beg your pardon, this one says, scores flee homes as a terrorist attack kill 23 Benue farmers. Scores flee homes as terrorist attack killed 23 Benue farmers. Okay, policeman confirmed 7 killed. That story is on page 6 of the New Telegraph. On page 8, 21, and 22. So it says brutal Accra route rivalry persists for Nigerian Ghanaian Airlines. Brutal Accra route rivalry persists for Nigerian Ghanaian Airlines. Okay, that story is on page 8, 21, and 22. And on page 4, 14, and 15, this one says education in Plateau. Many hurdles for governor-elect. Education in Plateau. Many hurdles for governor-elect. Okay, that's on page 4, 14, and 15. And lastly, here in the New Telegraph, this one says on page 2, without Emefiele, largest refinery in Africa won't be possible, according to Dangote. Without Emefiele, largest refinery in Africa won't be possible. That's Dangote saying on page 2 of the New Telegraph newspaper. Okay, that's the much we can take in the New Telegraph. Mr. Victor, please, I'd like to get your thoughts on the news on page 2 and 3 and 5. That's talking about the presidential poll, saying South Supreme Court to decide Tinubu's eligibility to contest May 26th. Please, let me get your thoughts on this particular headline.
Okay, it's looking like no story, but there is story in the story. So May 26th, which is on Friday, will be the date set aside by the Supreme Court to deliver the judgment of us knowing whether Ahmed Bola Tinubu is eligible to become the president. So how did this all get started? It started after the nomination of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the presidential candidate of the APC in July of last year. So since July, the PDP lodged in a case in the federal court in Abuja. And the Justice Ekwo delivered a judgment, and he delivered the judgment in favor of the APC. So what are the PDP praying about, or what is the PDP praying about? Okay, they prayed to the court that Kashim Shettima, that is the former governor of Borno State, and the vice presidential, VP elect, the vice presidential elect, that his nomination to become the vice presidential candidate of the APC was incorrect. Incorrect because that he was already nominated as the senatorial candidate of Borno Central. Are you getting that?
Okay.
So they are saying that it is violating the law, that's the electoral law, with the 2022 electoral law. So what are they saying? That he cannot be nominated as senatorial candidate at the same time be nominated as the vice presidential candidate. So you ask, when that message or when that case came up last year, I was like, why would that happen? I was like, maybe they weren't sure of, as in the PDP, weren't sure of this. Maybe they just lodged that case in. But after reading wide, I also noticed that, see, from the document submitted to INEC, he did not resign his position
Okay.
as the nominated candidate for the senatorial zone. Are you
Okay.
getting me? Meaning that he participated in 2 primaries.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
But I also, the judge, that's Justice Eku, has um, made his judgment, okay, and the judgment did not favor the PDP. Then they went a step further to go to the appellate court, and the appellate court did not also favor them, so they have gone to the Supreme Court. And today, by Friday, that's May 26th, that judgment should be made. But look at the question here. The question here is, for the fact that the same APC went to court in 2019 in matters relating to this,
Okay.
that the court, okay, it left the High Court down to the Supreme Court. So the same Supreme Court that this case has gone to, I've already attended to a case like this during the time of Uche Nwosu. Uche Nwosu is the son-in-law to Owen Rochas. Mind you, back in 2019, he did not. There was an issue in the APC, and he was not given the chance to represent the APC in the Guba election that happened in 2019.
Okay.
And he went to AA to get nominated. And what then happened? APC went to court to nullify him on the ground that he had double nomination. And this same thing is happening to the APC this time around.
So do you think it's now a situation of a pot trying to call kettle black?
But now, you know, this is law. Law can be thwarted. Law can be interpreted in many ways. So it is now left for the PDP and the judge itself to say, okay, see, let's follow the rules on ground. If you ask me, from my own point of view, I think if the judgment goes for the PDP,
might spell doom for APC.
Oh my God, it might cause some kind of instability in the country, and I think that is.
So how bad do you think an unfavorable judgment to the APC in this particular case? How bad do you think it's going to affect APC's attempt to retain power in the country?
No, if by May the 26th that this case goes against the APC, it is over.
When you say it is over, how do you mean it's over?
It is over for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Because you cannot have your VP,
your vice
or deputy cannot be indicted in a manner like this, and it
affects you. Okay?
Yeah, it's a double ticket. It's not just about you. Same thing happened in Bayelsa when the governor had already won the election, and the case against his deputy was against him. So the deputy, in fact, it was even a case that could have been avoided.
Overlooked.
What happened? The deputy submitted a fake result in quote.
My God.
And what do we have as criteria to become a governor or deputy governor? Just your WAEC. This man went ahead to submit, I think, master's degree. That was fake. And that was it. So anything that affects your deputy affects you, especially when you are talking about the electoral law here. Okay, so but
I still have questions to ask Mr. Victor.
Okay.
Yes, like you just rightly stated, anything that affects your deputy affects you. Mr. Victor, do you see this case as something? Let's assume that the judgment doesn't go in APC's favor at the end of the day. Do you see this as something that would really, go as far as affecting Tinubu to a level where he's not going to attain power on it by 29th of this month? Because you and I have seen other evidences of and reasons why Tinubu should not assume office May 29th. But it looks as if INEC are paying blind eyes and deaf ears to whatever evidence or whatever proofs that might be coming their way on why Tinubu is not the right man for the job to lead Nigeria at this point. But do you think particular case now might just be the last straw that will break the camel's back on that particular issue?
See, for the first time in the history of Nigeria, we've never heard a situation whereby the president-elect is facing so much pressure after an election. In the case of, one might say, in the case of Abiola, it's a different case altogether, because Abiola's own, they just came and say, see, you are not going to rule, come out, it did not work, go. Are you getting me? But this time around, your opposition have plenty cases against you, too numerous to mention. So when you have a situation like this,
and the court can't keep waving away all these cases, so it does not become so obvious that indeed they have been compromised, even if they have been compromised.
I pity the judges right now.
Because
because
truth is even if they have been compromised at this point in time, I believe they are struggling to still look for a way around it.
Now you even see, there was this report from David Hundeyin, the famous journalist, that he sent in a report yesterday, or just he tweeted yesterday about May 26th. Okay? Because they on their own are having so much confidence that, see, by Friday, that the dreams might be thwarted. That's Bola Ahmed dreams might be thwarted. Just days to the handover.
And to a lot of Nigerians, that day might look like Christmas to them.
See, I do not see. I'm not even. Oh, see.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know, but I'm even afraid.
I'm
afraid of the dangers
involved.
Yes, that might happen if this case goes against Bola Ahmed.
What danger do you think might happen? That Bola Ahmed Tinubu might decide to start calling out names.
Anarchy might happen, bro.
Start implicating other persons who he feels, since it didn't work out for me the way we planned it.
Do you know that they might be like, okay, the judgment, what if there's a situation whereby the Supreme Court, okay, gives the judgment against him, and he comes and says, see, I must be the president. Are you getting me? What then happens? The military will come in and take over. Is that the kind of country we want to have right now?
My God.
So are you getting the points here?
My God.
Does Bola Ahmed Tinubu look like someone that a judgment will go against him and he will accept it in good faith? I don't see that happening.
Well, for now, that's just an assumption for now.
Yes. That's an assumption, quite all right. But
I'm sure Bola Ahmed Tinubu actually wants what's best for this country. I'm sure he's a peaceful person. I'm sure he wouldn't want to see this country in ruins because of his ambition to become president. But if the reverse is the case, then I believe that should tell Nigerians exactly who Bola Ahmed Tinubu is. If it gets to that point where he has to come out and, like you just said, claim that, look, I must be the president no matter what. If he gets to that level, then I believe at that point, Nigerians have the privilege of seeing exactly who this man is. So I believe all you're saying right now is just for assumption based. Right? We are assuming.
One more assumption, if you ask me, one more assumption I'm seeing is that by May the 26th, the court or the Supreme Court judges might also come from the point of technicalities. Are you getting me? And trash out the case, just like how the case was dismissed in the High Court. Are you getting me? Because, see, this load will be too much on them for them to nullify the candidate of Bola Ahmed Tinubu just days to the swearing in. Do you know the reaction that will happen? the peace that the small peace that we are enjoying right now, what will happen?
Now,
And
let's not forget now. You are talking about, the future happenings of troubles and chaos should Bola Ahmed Tinubu's ambitions be thwarted by these whole cases. What about the chaos and other troubles that would arise as a result of him assuming that office?
that can be handled.
How
That
and
can
why
be
do you think?
handled by meeting up the people involved. Yes, look at, he has
When
already met
you are
Kwankwaso.
you are ruling a country where a good number of its citizens are not in support of you.
What about Buhari?
You know they don't
What
like you.
about Buhari? Didn't he face his own? Why would Tinubu win his own battle?
Okay.
Okay, so but
Okay.
there is this assumption now from the journalists that by that Tinubu is trying to will I say wole, is that the right word? No, he's trying to lobby the federal government to declare Friday public holiday,
Why?
because Friday, that the judgment will happen the Friday, that's the 26th, when the judgment will be delivered.
Mm.
If they can declare Friday public holiday, so that the judgment can be carried over to after the inauguration.
You can just imagine.
So, but these are assumptions.
Mm.
But let's see how it goes. We
Okay.
still have some few days coming. Let's see whether that will happen.
Okay, looking into other papers now for more headlines. We'll look at the Daily Times now. Interesting headlines here. This one says Nigeria loses 2,500 under 5 children daily from preventable causes. Nigeria loses 2,500 under 5 children daily from preventable causes. That's according to Sibanjo. Okay, and this one here says Buhari to commission second Niger bridge, 6 other legacy projects today. Buhari to commission second Niger bridge, 6 other legacy projects today. And this one says 10th HOR speaker, 10th HOR speaker. Minority caucus says it hasn't endorsed anybody. Minority caucus says it hasn't endorsed anybody. Awaiting input of governors' leaders. Okay. More interesting headlines. This one on page 3 says real reason PEPC dismissed request for live telecast of proceedings. Real reason PEPC dismissed request for live telecast of proceedings. That story is on page 3 of the Daily Times. And this one on page 5 says NLC sets the picket CAC over anti-labor practices. NLC sets the picket CAC over anti-labor practices. That's on page 5. And lastly, in the Daily Times, this one here on page 5 says Dangote refinery will generate $21 billion, employ over 100,000 youths. Dangote refinery will generate $21 billion, employ over 100,000 youths. Okay, that story is on page 5 of the Daily Times. Mr. Victor, I would like to hear your thoughts on this particular headline here. Nigeria loses 2,500 on the 5 children daily from preventable causes, according to Osi Banjo. Let me get your thoughts on this headline, please.
Okay, so for me, these are just brushing insults on the face of Nigerians. Why do I say that? Because it is the same government that during their time that Nigeria is standing on, have the 14% rate of maternity death in the world. We are running on 40% of the total maternity deaths that happen in the world. You know what that means? So for every 100 child or mother that dies, every 100 mother that dies during childbirth, Nigeria has 14 of them. As big as this world is, Nigeria has 14 of them. So what are they saying here? They're giving us the report that the way Nigerians are dying, and what have you done about it? That is the question. Okay, are you building will I say good hospitals for Nigerians? What is happening in the rural areas? our mothers are suffering. What's happening in terms of childcare in rural areas? What about welfare of doctors, which has been an issue from day one you guys came into power, down to even just last week that medical doctors, resident
Went on
doctors went
strike.
on strike. What investment have you made?
And yet they want to pass a bill to keep doctors in Nigeria for over 5 years before they could travel out.
So what have you put in place? Are you just dishing us this number so that we can
Clap
can
for
start
them
crying,
or be
I
happy?
don't know. I don't know. So it goes down to leadership in this case. Look at what is happening even in Rivers State. Even to access basic health centers, many of them there are no doctors. What am I even talking doctor? Even nurses, you can't even find them in there. So why won't we have cases where our mothers are dying? Why won't we have cases where children are dying? When even the smallest, just like it's being reported here, the smallest illnesses cannot be taken care of. So this is more like yes, mind you, for the past 1 month or 2 months, the government of Buhari have been coming out to say, see, that they have been doing so well in almost every sector. Okay, but we can see it here.
That's laughable.
That both in power,
It's
both
quite laughable.
in health, they have done virtually nothing.
It's
They've
quite
done virtually
laughable.
nothing.
It's
So
laughable.
it is they are just showing us this result on our faces, more like this is your report, so just take it that way. It's
It's a
really,
sad
really,
one.
it's
Sad
really,
one.
really sad, yeah.
Okay, let's go on a quick break right now. And when we return, we'll give you the last paper for the day. I will call it a day. Please stay tuned.
Hey there! Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Welcome back from that short break. We're still on the newspaper review here on TAP TV, and we shall be looking at the Guardian newspaper for our last paper for today. The boldest headline here on page 6 says, Telcos rising revenues. Profits fail to reflect in quality of services. Telcos rising revenues. Profits fail to reflect in quality of services. That's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. And another interesting headline here says, Buhari's fragile pieces. Buhari's fragile pieces. More hardware, less safety. Buhari's fragile pieces. More hardware, less safety. Okay. Another headline here on page 28 says, Relief for travelers as Buhari commissions second Niger bridge today. Relief for travelers as Buhari commissions second Niger bridge today. That story is on page 28 of The Guardian. On page 3 now, this one says, President, Bellam Limited. Jack Rich celebrates wife, Dr. Elizabeth, at 30. President,
30.
at 30 years.
Go ahead.
President, Bellam Limited. Jack Rich celebrates wife, Dr. Elizabeth, at 30. That story is on page 3 of The Guardian. And lastly here, no, not lastly, this one on page 6 again says, $18.5 billion Dangote refinery to release first products in August. $18.5 billion Dangote refinery to release first products in August. That story is on page 6 of The Guardian. Now, lastly, in The Guardian for today on page 4, this one says PEPC dismisses Atiku Obi's request for live telecast of proceedings. PEPC dismisses Atiku Obi's request for live telecast of proceedings. That's on page 4 of The Guardian newspaper. Okay, that's the much we can take in The Guardian for today. Mr. Victor, just before I call it a day, I would like to get your thoughts on PEPC dismissing Obi and Atiku's request for live telecast of the proceedings.
I thought you were going to give me we'll discuss about Jack Rich that has a wife of just 30 years.
Let's talk about this one first before we talk about other ones.
Okay. So, live telecast. What happened yesterday? That that case was thrown out from the window. Okay, on the ground that the judges were like that they don't want their courtroom to become a marketplace, and they also stated that it is novel, and it is not something that is in the constitution.
Hmm.
So, and also, yeah, mind you, they came from the point of, I mean, the PDP and P2 and the Labour Party. I don't know why I'm saying Atiku and Labour Party. Okay, let me keep it that way. They were coming from the side that there should be free hearing. Okay, that people have the right to hear. Nigerians have the right to hear what the court is saying about this matter. Okay, but they were like, see, in terms of live broadcast, if you screw it down to live broadcast, it is not in the constitution, and more so that they wouldn't want the courtroom to turn to a marketplace. Okay,
So what do you think about this particular decision? Do you think it's a valid reason enough to screen out that demand from the Labour Party and, of course, the PDP?
Siri, who am I when our Lord Chiefs, okay, have declared
Do you
that
smell foul play in any way?
Who am I? Who am I? Okay,
Mr.
but
Victor, come on, be honest now. Do you smell foul play in any way?
no, it's not about foul play at this time, okay? Because just like we already know that journalists are also there, yes, not with their
Must
cameras.
it be in the constitution before such a proceeding would be, aired on live television?
I know we want that kind of both entertainment and information, okay? We want all that stuff, but coming from the part where the judgment has been delivered, serious. And I think it might not also affect the case. In quotes, affect it in the sense that let them hear this case, let them see their witnesses. Mind you, the APC were like, oh, they are protecting the judges from not being harmed outside. See, we already know these judges. They are not masked.
Yes.
They are already there.
Or they will say, some will say
Okay.
Witnesses, in case they come to witness anything. How about the witnesses come on mask? How do we know who they are?
So this is not about them being object of attack, okay, by the masses if they do things that is
Mr. Victor,
displeasing
there are
to
ways
the
to
masses.
go about these things if actually they want to get it done. It's just, I don't know, I feel like maybe they are aware of the curtains in the cupboard, so they don't want to, further implicate themselves, so they have to just put this one off.
No two ways. I know that our lordships, some of our judges have not lived up to expectation.
Definitely.
No two ways about that, okay? But I also believe that, see, this is a time for our judges to make it work this time around, okay? The weight of Nigerians are on them. For them, what are we asking for? They should make sure that they deliver their duty in the right manner, following the constitution and with the right conscience.
Oh, okay. The right conscience. Okay, these are the words of Mr. Victor. But personally, I still don't agree with that judgment by the court to dismiss that the demands of the Labour Party and the PDP. Come on.
Okay.
Anyways, the judgment that has been given. So who are we, like Mr. Victor said, who are we to go against the judgment of the court? Okay, I think that's the much we can take on politics for now. Just before we call it a day on the newspaper review, I'd like to go into the world of sports a little bit. And just recently, Manchester City were crowned the champions of England, and for the third time in a row. And so many Manchester United fans are not happy because recently, before now, they've been the only team in England with such a record, and Manchester City just actually matched up that record. So, of course, they're not really happy about it. So I don't know, Mr. Peter, how do you feel about this right now? I think Haaland in his first season, 36 goals in his first season, in the Champions League final already, in the FA Cup final, and of course, already having the Premier League trophy in the bag already in his first season. What do you make of this?
See, from the Arsenal point of view, when I look at these results, I be like, wow, how can a team get all these results? You have a player with so much goals, heading. He has done 15 in all competition, I guess, or about to.
I think he's yet to. He's
Okay,
yet
yet
to.
to. Okay. So when you see all these happy moments happening in a club and your own club, you guys have not found your rhythm. You be like, this is world breaking. This cannot.
But Arsenal have found their rhythm. Arsenal has.
Which kind of rhythm from the last 10 games of the season?
No. I believe every Arsenal fan would agree to the fact that what really played to Arsenal's disadvantage is just the lack of squad depth, like I used to tell some of my friends. If only Arsenal had the quality of squad depth that City has to replace the likes of Zinchenko and William Saliba when they went on injuries,
And
I don't
Saka,
think,
who lost form.
and Saka who lost form, I don't think City would have been able to top them to the league title, because personally Arsenal had, in terms of rhythm, in terms of talent, Arsenal had it. But because the league, like they say, is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And at some point, Arsenal ran out of gas, and City still had more gas in the tank. So that was just the defining factor to me. Just like running a marathon now, you have to save some energy for the final lapses. That's exactly what played out. So Arsenal, to me, have found their rhythm. The Arsenal board just needs to, be less stingy in transfer market and bring out this money. Spend it. Buy players. Create competition for every position on the field, and then see the magic happen. Granit Xhaka and unfortunately will be leaving Arsenal by the end of the season to Bayer Leverkusen. We wish him good luck. We wish him all the best. I wonder who Arsenal will use to replace him right now, because Xhaka is such an important player for Arsenal currently.
Yes. And if you also go from the point that, the Premier League has shown us that money is king. Money is king, my brother.
Not just the Premier League. It's everywhere, Mr. Victor. As long as the money is there.
Do you know the squad? I was watching a commentary that the second 11 of City, they are worth £400 million.
And I'm telling somebody somebody was telling me that City had to use their second 11 to win Chelsea. I said, that second 11 of City, if you decide to rest the first 11 for the whole of the season, might even go ahead to win the league. That is how strong City are. So I don't know where people get this. City have invested, so they are reaping the fruits of that investment currently.
So what are you going to also make out of the teams on relegation? You find out that
it's a tough battle for them right now.
You find out that also they did not really invest. If you check it, like Leicester.
Yes,
how many
now
people did they bring
they
in?
sold people and then refused to.
Yes. Look at Leeds. You
even
sold what's that guy on the right that went to Rafinha?
Rafinha.
You could not replace. You did not even go close to replacing that guy. Are you getting that?
The sad one.
So you find out that money is so important. And for the team that luckily escaped relegation. For me, it seems like Crystal Palace.
They have Roy Hodgson to thank.
Let them go and fortify their team.
They have Hodgson to
Because
thank.
next season, the way these guys will pull out monies and go and buy players.
And another important factor I've noticed in being at the top is you need to have a good scouting team.
Oh, sure.
The quality of your scouting team determines how great your club becomes in the future. Because if you check clubs like Brighton are moving gradually towards greatness. Their scouting team is exceptional. I'm yet to see a team right now in the Premier League, I think minus one of Man City right now, but Brighton scouting team, if it's possible, I'll just suggest Chelsea, please go and buy the scouting team.
All of them.
Because they scout great talent, man. Well, let's just stop here for now. I don't think it's a sports show. Let's call it today on the program for today. Yes.
And please, congratulations to Jack Rich, the wife turning 30. You'll be so.
Yes.
I don't know. You'll be like, why am I about this news? Jack Rich is over 60 years old and the wife is 30. So
wow.
Yeah, the owner of
such
Belema
age difference.
So when you check that, you'll be like, wow. What is that? But big congratulations to the wife.
Yeah, big congratulations to the wife. And of course, I want to say thank you to you, my wonderful viewers, for staying faithful to your screen up until this time. Without you, we would not be here. Mr. Victor, thank you so much for your time with me on the program today. I appreciate it. My name is Cyril Aloysius. Please, if you're yet to subscribe to this channel, make sure you click the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so you could get notified when we drop new videos. And of course, check us out on our different social media platforms. On YouTube, we are Tap TV, on Instagram, or on _NG on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter with Ataf TV. It's a bye for now. Until we come here again next time, to enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks so much for watching.